the name of Natty Knitworm, Mom, what is that smell?
Hello, listeners! Hello and welcome to the Good American Novel, Season 2, Episode 7, Clover's Big Night.
Clover's Big Night.
Which, I've been told, is a very special episode.
Very special episode.
Now, listeners, I'm Ursula Bucher, your host and children's library consultant, reminding you to start at the start. This is a serial podcast. Don't try listening from the middle. Today I'm joined in hosting by the creator of the Good American Novel, Hildy Festerling, who is also my mother. Hello, Hildy.
Hello, Ursula. Thanks for having me on the intro to this very special episode.
About that, what do you mean by a very special episode?
Well, back in the 80s and 90s, we had these TV shows called sitcoms. And every once in a while, there would be something called a very special episode. And that would be an episode which would demonstrate to the kids watching why they shouldn't, say, join a gang or light their house on fire. So this is sort of like that.
Okay, so what's the topic? Don't get trapped in your evil neighbor's barn?
No. The topic is 19th century patent medicine.
Wait, what?
19th century patent medicine. Quack medicines that made wild claims about being able to cure everything, but were at best useless and more often dangerous.
That's not relevant to the kids of today.
Well, that may be true, but it is relevant to Layla, who finds herself coming face to face with a 100-year-old medicine chest just brimming with patent medicines. I mean, maybe some of our listeners will find themselves in this same predicament.
That seems unlikely. So why are we talking about this in the intro?
Because I needed to come on here to tell the people that Layla will be reading some of the labels on the patent medicines she finds, and I need our listeners to know that I, Hildy, did not write these. They are lifted directly from the historical text of actual patent medicine labels, word for word.
Is this a content warning?
Maybe.
Are there other content warnings? It's kind of my thing to do those.
Well, yeah, this is a scary episode. It's as tense as a border collie at a rabbit show. Near the end of the episode, there is a gruesome and scary resolution to a major problem. You'll probably be able to tell when it's coming, and it's over pretty quick. And no harm comes to any of our beloved characters.
Well, Mom, thanks for this super relevant information.
And now the episode. Clover, the boss sheep, was sleeping the patchy, interrupted sleep of the thwarted, the humiliated. In fact, Clover, the boss sheep, wasn't really sleeping at all. No. She was going over and over in her mind the disastrous result of her coup.
Had one chance.
She thought.
One chance, with the alpacas on my side to overthrow that rude, stubborn goat. And what happens? My herd sabotages it.
Suddenly, her unpleasant reverie was interrupted by a loud thump. Clover lifted her head and surveyed her herd. Dandelion, Brain, and Gorilla were all sleeping contentedly. And why shouldn't they? They all had new names. They all believed themselves to be the new president of the Milk and Wool Producing Animals Neighborhood Society.
In a way, I'm happy for them. But what made that noise?
Clover lifted her head and heard someone muttering, "Who the clock put this fence here? Damn sheep. Double damn sheep humans."
That wasn't a sheep's voice. That sounds like...
"Clover!" bawled a slightly slurred, very familiar bleat. "Clover!"
Mama Chi!
Clover hissed.
What are you doing here? Quiet down. You'll wake up the mules and trust me, you don't want that.
"Clover!"
Keep your wool on, I'm coming.
Clover got up and squeezed under a loose floorboard and was out in the stormy night. Mama Chi-Chi stood there, soaking wet, swaying under the rain shelter just outside the sheepfold.
What are you doing here? And
Clover was stopped short by a sharp whiff of something.
ugh, in the name of Natty Knitwear, Mama, what is that smell?
Business, Clover. You and I have business. New business, old business, outstanding items on the queen-to-queen agenda.
Mama Chi? What am I smelling, please?
I'm glad you asked. There's a very charming cherrel of brandies.
What?
Very charming cherrel of brandies I'd like to make your acquaintance of.
What?
A bowl of erudite cherries would like to meet you.
Excuse me, Mama Chi, are you saying that you want to introduce me to a barrel of cherries?
See? You're sensible, Clover. Sensible and practical. A sheep of superior brain power and common sense. A sheep... Mama Chi-Chi's voice suddenly grew thick. A sheep who would not become so distracted as to lose her own precious kids. Now, I know I came to talk to you about something, to get your help about something, but I can't remember exactly what or why. So, are you with me?
Well, okay, probably. But would you please tell me what you're talking about?
Not another word. To the barrel. Mama Chi-Chi turned tail and trotted off into the darkness. In the barrel, we will find wisdom.
I doubt that very much.
Clover called after her, but she felt she had no choice but to follow. Queen to queen, indeed. Layla stood on a crate in the barn, shining her flashlight up at the rusty red box with the image of the two snakes entwined on it, bold in white paint.
I'm pretty sure that's a doctor symbol?
Layla said grimly to Minerva, who hadn't left her side for a moment.
I once read a romance novel about a nurse in the war. Anyway, why do doctors and vets have to make things extra creepy? I mean, snakes. Come on.
She stroked Minerva for luck and reached up for the box. She brought it back into her room where Silver lay, ashy-looking and weak, with Gotina keeping watch over her. Layla sat down cross-legged on the ground and worked to open the rusty tin box. The box inside was a perfectly preserved 1918 pharmacopoeia. There were orderly stacks of gauze bandages of all sizes, little scissors and thermometers containing glossy drops of red mercury, and many terrifying-looking metal implements which Layla could not name, and whose uses she immediately selected not to turn her vivid imagination on.
Okay. In Girl Scouts, they said to dress wounds with polysporin and a bandage, and we got to practice on dolls, which was fun because I love dolls, but the wounds weren't real wounds like this, and the blood was raspberry jam, which was a waste. Okay, where's the polysporin in this thing?
She plucked at random one of the many neat glass bottles, and in the dim illumination of her flashlight, read the following label.
Dr. Montaug's Green Mountain Miracle Ointment is a positive remedy for bronchitis, sore throats, ringworm, ew, burns, piles, what are piles? I'm not even gonna try. Some kind of old-time disease. Milk, like, what?
Bah! Gotina bawled impatiently.
Okay. Is milk like a thing, though? Okay, wait, it does more. Bilious colic, burns, bruises, fresh cut wounds. Okay, wow, this stuff does a lot of things. Okay.
Layla looked down at Silver's flank where the wounds lay under her coat.
Okay, it's basically just raspberry jam under there. Just raspberry jam. I can do this. I can do this. I can do this.
With trembling hands, Layla unscrewed the bottle of Dr. Montague's Miracle, etc., and pulled back the coat she'd placed over Silver's wounds on her haunches.
Oh my gosh. That's a lot of raspberry jam.
Layla could plainly see 3 deep parallel gashes running from the back down the left leg, oozing blood that was congealing into a puddle on the floor.
Oh man, oh man, oh man, I do not like this.
Bah! Minerva bleated, and she nudged the hand with the bottle of ointment.
Okay, here goes. Okay, Silver, this is to sterilize the wound. I don't know, it's probably gonna hurt a lot. I can't really lie to you about this.
And without further ado, Layla dumped the entire bottle of Dr. Montague's onto Silver's wounds. Silver, who had been drifting on the boundary of consciousness, emitted a scream of burning agony.
Sorry!
Bah! Silver asked. Bah! Gotina offered brightly. Layla met Gotina's eyes and nodded.
Do you think it did her some good somehow, little one?
Bah!
Yeah, it felt good to hear her yell somehow.
Bah! Minerva agreed.
Okay. Bandages.
Layla rifled through the neat stacks of gauze.
It doesn't look like there's any tape. Maybe they ran out. Or maybe it wasn't invented yet. Well, we can at least press it on. I think pressure is a thing.
She pulled out a large wad of gauze.
Sorry, Silver,
she said, and then pressed the gauze against the wound. Boo! Silver protested and began to wriggle feebly.
Sit still,
Layla told her.
This stops the bleeding.
Silver seemed to relax her struggles then, perhaps more out of exhaustion than anything else. Layla said after a moment of holding the bandage in place.
I can't really work on rescuing you if I've got to just sit here putting on pressure.
And so, Gotina obligingly stepped over and sat on Silver's haunches, directly on top of the bandage.
Bah!
Silver glared back over her shoulder at her little cousin, but was too weak to shove her off.
Good girl, Gotina,
Layla cooed.
Okay, I think I should see if there's any more medicine in here I should give her.
She began looking at the labels.
Elixir for feminine complaints? Okay, nope. Genuine petroleum? I don't think so. Morphine tooth drops, constitution and liver medicine? No. Infinite gravity snake oil miracle elixir?
Layla could not resist this last bottle, whose label depicted a man in a top hat surrounded by snakes.
Clark and Stanley's patented snake oil miracle elixir is the only medicine guaranteed to cure cancer, tuberculosis, depression, rheumatism, iron deficiencies, insanity, feminine problems, piles again, scarlet fever, heart disease, and more. World's most potent snake oil, Clark and Stanley's secret proprietary blend of morphine, pure rattlesnake oil, and vivifying mercury cures all ills.
She shrugged.
I guess it can't hurt.
With teeth and some difficulty, she uncorked the bottle, and immediately an incredibly sharp aroma filled the room.
Here's your medicine, Silver.
Layla threw an arm around Silver's neck, shoved the bottle between her lips, and before the goat knew what was happening, several liquid ounces of infinite gravity snake oil had been poured down her throat. Minerva, Gotina and Layla watched Silver closely for any reaction. Silver's eyes popped open, and for a moment her eyeballs seemed to spin around like lazy tops in their sockets. Silver asked woosedly. Then a mighty belch issued forth, releasing once again the powerful aroma of the snake oil. The goat shook her head vigorously. Her left ear gave a mighty twitch, all on its own. Then, "Bah!" Layla patted her then, reached into her pocket and produced a granola bar. She unwrapped the foil, and suddenly there was an aroma very similar to molasses oats in the air. Minerva and Gotina, who knew that Silver had not eaten for hours, watched closely. Slowly, Silver's eyes came into focus. Layla broke off a tiny morsel and held it up to Silver's mouth, still glistening with the viscous brown snake oil. Silver looked at her warily, sniffed. "Meh!" Gotina prodded. Silver weakly opened her mouth, took the morsel, chewed, and gulped it down. "Bah! Meh!
Yeah!
Meh!" It was the sound of cheers. "Bah!" Silver asked.
Well, yes, Silver. You may have some more.
I don't even know when they left, Clover. They just slipped away when my back was turned. 2 kids and a yearling. Was it during our meeting? I should know. And then the next day, 2 more. My last kids, Clover. Both of them. And their cousins. This discourse was given from inside the pig food and brewing shack. Mama Chi-Chi put her nose into the sharp-smelling barrel and drank deeply. For God's sake, Clover. It won't hurt you any. Drink with me. Clover looked warily at the awkward form of Lady Baba, who had fallen asleep sprawled in a box of over-the-hill pies. But Midler, who was soaking wet, reeking of the barrel and sleeping in Sawyer's coat, and Liz Oates asleep with her nose in a box of lettuce.
Did they drink some? Because I would say it's doing your deputy and your other nannies some harm.
They're fine. They'll sleep it off. Besides, Clover, we're queens, you and I. Herd queens are made of stronger stuff. Although, Mama Chi-Chi looked away. Although I seem to be losing my touch. If a queen loses a kid, she should know why. To lose 5? Unforgivable. Unconscionable. The truth is that my reign is over. Over with my family. And that's where you come in. The society. Damn you, Clover, you've been my nemesis so long, and I've always looked down on you, but have a drink. I'm revealing my weaknesses to you. The least you can do is have a drink with me. Clover nodded, then obligingly took a small sip from the barrel.
Oh.
You see?
This is, I feel, amazing. Is this what it feels like to be a goat?
Mama Chi-Chi chuckled. You've been my nemesis so long, Clover, that it's quite snuck up on me how much I admire you. Listen, I won't have any influence over my herd when this debacle is all over. The next time the society meets, I'll declare the vote we took as legally binding, and my last act will be to swear you in as the new president of the Milk and Wool Producing Animals Neighborhood Society.
But, Mama Chi, you can't be serious. We didn't even do the vote before the sheep.
Technicalities. No, Clover. You shall be the new president. And goat help you. The next generation of nannies are going to be absolutely ungovernable. Rafaela and Stephanie can read, you know. Human books. As if my daughter wasn't trouble enough without special clucking skills. That girl has given me more trouble. Her voice trailed off. FM let me keep my little runt, Gotina, as a comfort to me in my old age. Raffaella will try to have me sent to the knackers the minute I show a sign of weakness. But she's the only kid left to me now. Ow! What? Clover? Mama Chi-Chi was astonished. Clover, did you just butt me?
We call it ramming.
Clover, that was just dirty. I'm surprised at you.
Stop feeling sorry for yourself. Now what are you giving up for? I thought Mateo told you I saw 2 of your kids this morning with the human kid.
Well, yes, but...
Did you search that alpaca lady barn?
Yes, but no. They're not there.
Her house?
Nothing.
Did you go inside the house?
Inside? Well, of course not. Don't be ridiculous.
Well, there's your answer, Mama Chi. They're in the house.
That's absurd. People don't take goats inside houses.
You only think that because FM doesn't have any children. Grown-up humans don't take animals into houses, but human kids do it all the time.
Clover made an exasperated noise and went on.
Usually without their parents' permission or knowledge.
Mama Chi-Chi peered down her nose at Clover. That sounds like experience talking.
I don't like to talk about that.
Out with it, Clover.
Eh.
Have another drink and spill the beans.
Fine. When I was just a lamb, Elmer and Pollyanna, my humans, Elmer and Pollyanna had these 2 daughters, twins. They kidnapped me and hid me in their room for 4 whole days. They cut off all my wool and made me drink cow's milk.
Disgusting.
That's nothing. They dressed me in something called outfits and made me eat Captain Crunch around the clock. At first, Captain Crunch was yummy, but after 2 days, ugh.
And the parents didn't know?
No, human parents didn't know anything.
Where did they keep you?
Hidden in their room, inside something called a blankaford.
What's a blankaford?
A secret room, inside a room, made of string and chairs and books and blankets.
Holy mountain goat! I saw a giant pile of blankets through the window in one of the rooms.
That's no pile of blankets, Mama Chi. That's a blankaford, and your kids are inside it. I'll bet my next bucket of oats on it.
Well, how will I get them out?
Ram through the window.
Language, Clover.
Smash through, then. Right now, if possible. There's no telling what little humans could be doing to them right now. They might be painting their hooves pink.
Mama Chi-Chi put her nose in the barrel, took a last drink, then bleated to the sky. Mangoat! Goatina! I'm coming for you! Goatina and Minerva watched on approvingly as Silver finished her second granola bar. Buh? Silver asked.
I'm sorry, Silver. I don't have any more.
Buh! Layla looked around at Minerva, who was never far from her, and rubbed her cheek against the goat's nose.
It looks like she's feeling a lot better. I guess it's time for us to start thinking about getting her out of here. I think Silver's not losing blood anymore. You keep up that pressure, Goatina.
Bah! Goatina answered brightly.
Okay, I have sort of a plan. Because, well, the ladder I came in on fell when I was getting in, so we can't get down that way, and, well, we can't use the trapdoors in the floor to go to the bottom, 'cause, Tiger, don't think about it. What I think we can do is we'll just throw boxes of stuff out the window until the pile of boxes at the bottom gets big enough that we can jump out onto it. I mean, so Silver can't probably jump down in this state, but I can go get my brother Sawyer, and he can call the vet and stuff, and then we can sell the boxes of stuff in the garage sale I'm having.
Minerva looked up adoringly. Layla went over to the closest window and put her head out.
The awning, I think it's called? There's some kind of covering that's fallen and ripped off, so if I throw the boxes out there, they'll get wet in the rain. Maybe there's better windows out front?
Layla peered out of the room.
Ugh, it's so dark out there. It's just, really creepy in this barn.
She faltered.
Do you think the tiger can, find another way up here?
Buh. Layla felt fur in her hand and looked down to see Minerva, looking resolutely at her, her golden eyes glowing with determination in the darkness.
Okay, we don't have a choice.
Layla gulped and nodded. She took up her flashlight, reached out to make sure Minerva was going with her, and stepped out into the long, dark avenue of the barn. On they went, into the cavernous area. Minerva stepped in front of her to navigate through the area where the storm came through the collapsed ceiling. Layla was glad for the white underflag of the goat's tail. After some minutes of bumping shins and scraping cobwebs with her face, Layla could finally see, ahead of them in the darkness, a smeary yellow flicker of some distant house lights coming in through the window. She made for the window at the far end of the barn and looked out.
Okay, so over this window area at the front of the barn, there's still a good covering where the roof juts out and protects the sides. I think we can throw the boxes of stuff out there. The first bunch will probably get a bit damaged. Well, maybe we can start with books and stuff like that, stuff nobody'd want to buy.
Layla shone her flashlight around her.
Threshing machine components. No one wants that anymore.
She shrugged.
I think.
With great difficulty, she lifted the box of heavy old machine parts and hurled them out the window into the dark night. They smashed satisfyingly below.
One step to freedom,
Layla said to her goat companion and put out her hand for a high five. Minerva gently butted it.
Nice, head 5.
Layla giggled. Then she put her head out the window.
Well, that was very fun, but it's not really making a neat pile of boxes like I imagined. I mean, it sort of went everywhere, so I guess I'll have to... Hey! What?
Minerva hooked her hooves up to look out the window with Layla, and they both had a moment, just a moment, to see the tiniest wisp of reddish light rise in a galloping motion up from the box.
What?
Layla was beginning when... From far back in the front room, they heard from the far end of the barn Gotina's bleat come out in terror. Meh! Minerva called back. Meh!
Oh god, is that the tiger?
Layla hissed. Gotina screamed again, and Minerva put her head down and charged back into the darkness of the hallway.
Don't leave me alone!
Layla yelped, running after her. As they came through the dark center of the barn, the fearful gloom seemed to engulf the puny beam of Layla's flashlight, and in the darkness their ears were attuned to the slightest noises. Layla wondered what horrors they would find at the other end of the barn, where little Gotina and injured Silver lay. Was the tiger back? Would it roar? How had it gotten up to them? How big was it? Layla's mind was like a frightened rabbit. Could it really be that there was truly a tiger below them? It was so hard to believe it could really be. Yet Layla's mind recounted the evidence. Archie swore he had seen it. She herself had seen the work of its claws in the wooden doorframe, and in poor Silver's flesh. And it fit the puzzle of the kidnapped goats, of Scott kidnapping the goats and wanting to fatten them up. She shuddered as she ran. She saw ahead of her Minerva pause for just a moment, long ears lifting up. Layla stopped and perked her ears, too. She heard something. Was it the tiger, growling, prowling? Was it the tiger's footsteps? No. It was something altogether different.
Hello, are you all fattened up?
Layla switched off her flashlight as her heart jumped to her mouth. It wasn't a tiger at all. It was a man. Layla stopped and stood perfectly still. It was a man, speaking through the window. Layla and Minerva had reached the end of the hallway, and in the darkness, they exchanged terrified glances right outside the room where Gotina and Silver were, where the man was coming in.
I just couldn't sleep,
he said.
Well, Elvis was bothering me. He wouldn't settle. He's hungry. And as I lay there, I got to thinking. I thought to myself, what safer perch could I have than this window for watching the hunt? There's a door in this room. Maybe what I'll do is I'll come in and I'll close the door. Then, look, it's very fortunate. There's a trap door in the floor. By the looks of it, maybe my new pet has already found it. Wait a minute, have I missed some of the hunt? Why, one of you is bleeding. Well, I can't risk that again. What I'll do is I'll clear the way, and then I'll watch Elvis eat the little one. You would like that, wouldn't you, Elvis? That's why you wouldn't settle. You were dreaming of live meat. And then my new pet will come for the others. Isn't there a third goat? A bigger one?
All through this horrible speech, Layla had stood frozen with fear. But one of her hands was on Minerva's neck, and this one part of Layla felt alive, vital. She was aware of the soft bristle of the fur, of the warm, thoughtful aliveness of this friend. This beautiful new friend who had pulled her into safety when she'd almost fallen from the window. This friend who had accompanied her through every step of this fearful journey in the barn, who communicated with perfect clarity through her big golden eyes. This new friend? To be hunted? For enjoyment? For entertainment? Layla saw red. Scott was not aware that he was being overheard by human ears. He did not expect, not in the least, any humans to be listening to his little monologue. Certainly he did not expect any humans with no sense of decorum to emerge from the shadowy darkness of the barn to offer comment on his activities. He was accustomed to fulfilling his terrible wants in perfect secrecy. What Scott could never have imagined was a nemesis as brazen as he was, running towards him, charging through the darkness. Layla in full rage. As her heavy footfalls crossed the room, she entered the beam of his flashlight and her charge became visible to him. He'd heard her roar as she'd run, and the noise had set his heart racing. What was making that sound? What was coming? The moment Layla entered his flashlight beam, he relaxed. It was just a child, nothing to fear. And that was when a sack of hammers drove into his gut.
Ugh!
It wasn't a sack of hammers, of course. It was Minerva. Minerva, who charged right along with Layla, only more quietly. And her 4 hooves had gotten her to him first, silent and underneath the flashlight beam's searching eye. Scott's body flexed inwards around his belly, and he so nearly fell backwards into space. His one arm wheeled wildly into the darkness, but his other hand reached for and gripped the sill, and he righted himself, pulled himself back to the window. The big goat was rearing at him. He saw that now. He cracked her across the nose with the butt of his flashlight. Bah! Minerva howled in pain and fell to the floor. Elvis the snake, meanwhile, was flexing his great coils. Yes, Elvis had moved part of his body onto the windowsill. Elvis was pulling them deeper into the window. And he began to slither inward.
Yes, Elvis, that's it. Pull us in.
Layla's charging scream, the background noise to this goat attack and man counterattack, abruptly ceased when Minerva cried in pain and hit the floor. Scott turned his flashlight up onto Layla, who was just out of his reach. Layla and Scott locked eyes, and there was a moment A terrible moment, where each, in their own fear and rage, sized up the other for the battle that was sure to unfold. But it was Gotina who struck first. Little Gotina, her head barely as high as the windowsill, jumped with all the strength of her little heart and cracked wildly, knocking the flashlight out of Scott's hand.
You rotten little...
Scott snaked his arm around Gotina's neck.
Haha, I've got you now. The little one.
Layla's head whipped around to see Silver, illuminated by the flashlight rolling around on the floor, wearily rock herself back. Said the injured Silver, and then, with one great effort, she upward butted the skull of Ruby Onehorn. The bleached white goat skull was knocked free and flew in an arc through the dark air toward Layla, who caught it in her arms like a football. And then, skull held forward, Layla made her lunge towards Scott. Scott, who was trying to get a good hold of Gotina, who was writhing in his arms and crushing his hand against the windowsill. He did not see until it was too late. The ancient skull of Ruby Onehorn. Its one long, infamous spear-pointed tip coming forward, propelled by all of Layla's avenging rage, and pointed straight for the new neighbor's eyeball. And then Scott was falling wildly back into the night, with his snake still wrapped around his shoulders, and landed with the smacking sound of wet cement on the thistles below. The skull of Ruby Onehorn, still embedded, fell with him.
Well, I hope you're not completely dead,
Layla called down into the darkness, where she could not see but knew that man, snake, and skull had fallen.
But self-defense.
The rain had let up, but it was still cold as Clover and Mama Chi-Chi stood in the wreckage of Millicent's rose garden. "That's the window," Mama Chi-Chi told Clover. "That one over there, I'm pretty sure of it. Lady Baba's taller than me, but she said she saw the pile of blankets in there."
That's the blanket ford.
"Yes, well..."
So, here's what you're gonna do. You're actually kind of a short little thing, aren't you? I never noticed how short you are.
"Bah!"
Especially for a queen. That's really quite surprising. You're shorter than last year's lambs now.
"Get to it, Clover."
Alright, Mama Shorty. Here's what you're gonna do. It's a one-time offer, understand? I'm gonna stand right here, under the window, and you're gonna take a running jump onto my back, bounce off of it, and up through to smash the window open with that hard skull of yours. It's got to be a good jump, and you've got to hit it hard with your horns. Not your nose. Glass is hard, and you've got to be harder.
"Bah! Clover, what if they're not in there? Anyway, I don't think I can jump that high. And my legs, they feel wobbly for some reason." She stopped and smacked her mouth. "And there's a gross taste in my mouth. I feel as though I ate a jacket or something. I can't think clearly."
For goat's sake, Mama, you drank too much of that cherry stuff.
Clover knocked her head against Mama Chi-Chi's behind.
Dunk your head into that rain barrel over there. That'll clear you up.
Mama Chi-Chi replied disagreeably, still smacking her tongue around in her mouth. "I don't want to do that, Clover. What do you think I am, a pig at the wallow? Besides, I'm already all wet from this rain. It will take all night to dry me off." Clover cracked Mama Chi-Chi on the head.
Mama Chi, do you know who is the baddest birch tree in this neighborhood?
Mama Chi-Chi stopped smacking her lips and looked balefully at Clover. Is it me?"
Damn right it's you. Do you even understand? To you, I know I'm just an irritating little rival who never beats you, but do you know what you are to me?
"I don't know, a really large and serious rival who always beats you?"
A clucking hero, okay? That's what you are. I try every day to be more like who? Like you. Don't tell anyone I ever said that. But apparently I need to remind you that heroes don't give up on their kids. You never have before, and it's no time to start now.
Mama Chi-Chi stood a bit straighter and met Clover's eye. Then she stepped over to the rain barrel and plunged her head in. Came up shuddering and plunged again. That was good. She paused. Thank you, Clover. I'm glad it's you seeing me like this and not my herd.
Sometimes queens need each other.
Queen to queen.
Damn right. Now, vault off my back, queen.
Mama Chi vaulted. Well, listeners, that was a plot-heavy episode if I ever heard one. I hope you've all learned everything you ever wanted to know about 19th century patent medicines. Listeners, this week comes with a special shout-out to Elliot Tothill, who plays a great deal of the piano, including that beautiful, cacophonous rendition of Bad Romance we heard right after the impaling of Scott, and also to Miku Alden, who voiced Clover in this and other episodes, both of whom are graduating high school this week. So, congratulations to both of these excellent and talented young people. I'm so grateful that they're in my family and my cast. The Good American Novel is produced and created by me, Hildy Festerling, and voiced by me with, as always, incredible help from Ursula Bucher, Johnny Bucher, Gabriel Alden, Caleb Alden, Miku Alden, as mentioned, Amanda Lockland, frequently. That's all there is to say for this week. We'll be back soon. I don't mind telling you, the next episode features an extra special guest. And for those of you who listen long enough to hear the end of the credits, I'll give you a little spoiler. The next episode is called Billy Joel. He's a real uptown goat.